Well, if you're going to battle with your child over homework, it's time to call in some reinforcements.
Yep, and DialATeacher is the one to call. It's a free homework service that connects K through 12 students with a teacher.
I love this. Kristin Johansson is the director of DialATeacher and joins us this morning with more details. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Well, we didn't have to dial you up. You're right here. We appreciate that. Tell us more about the DialATeacher program.
Well, DialATeacher has actually been around in one form or another for almost 20 years.
Oh, really?
And it's a project of the Albuquerque Teachers Federation and our nonprofit, the ATF Teacher Leadership Foundation.
Nice.
And really, it's a great service. Kids can call and get homework help on pretty much any subject in English or Spanish.
Well, that's really interesting. So you say that the kids can actually do the calling. So does it have the parents? So tell us more about how that works.
Well, sometimes we get parents calling, and sometimes we get kids from across the country calling. But they can call anytime, Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. And they connect with the teacher on the other side of the line and get help one-on-one.
So who actually is the one that's providing the homework help?
They're
the students?
licensed teachers
Okay.
that work in the Albuquerque Public Schools. They're members of our union, and they come in. Actually, the program itself is housed at our office. So the DialATeachers come in after school every day, and they're there at the other end of the phone just waiting for you to call.
That's really neat. So what kind of things do students call about? Is it like algebra homework or math homework?
I'd be calling about math for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. 85% or more of our calls actually are in the area of math.
Really?
Yeah. And then after that, it's science, and then we get a few language arts and a few social studies, but primarily it's math and algebra and geometry. Those top the list.
And
It's
you
like
don't
a
just give the
tutor.
answers, right?
Oh, no. They guide them through the problem-solving process. So
It's
they're
not like the
teaching them
Cliff Notes of
strategies.
homework answers.
Right, exactly. So they guide the students through and help them solve the problems themselves rather than just, fork over an answer.
I think that's great. Yeah, and it eliminates any embarrassment factor because it's over the phone. And so when you think about how many people are calling, I mean, do they get overwhelmed? How many calls do they typically receive?
It all depends. At the beginning of the school year, the first quarter or so, when kids are getting hit with a lot of homework, we get like 130, 140 calls a week. So in the course of a year, it's over 2,500 calls usually.
Okay, and so do you have certain teachers that specialize in different subjects that they get transferred to? Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, exactly. They'll dial in, and we have like a rollover line system. So whoever answers the phone, if they're calling in a different subject area or if they're calling in speaking in Spanish, then they'll transfer them to the appropriate person over across the way.
You know, I have to say, I mean, we do our research for the show and we think about things, but this is something I was clueless about this. I had no idea this was even an option. I am so glad you're here today because I'm sure there are a lot of parents who are thinking the same thing right now.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things our parents struggle with too is, all of us have been out of school for a while and the jargon's a little different. So even if you were great at algebra back in the 90s, you may not be on top of your game right now.
I remember as a kid too, I was like, Mom, how do you do this problem or whatever? And she's like, honey, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So you're going back to the books and you're trying to figure it out. And sometimes you really do need that extra help.
And speaking of that, let me ask you this. Are there technology specialists? Because so much of our homework now and so much of what we're learning in school is technology based.
Yeah, all of our teachers, they in the classroom, they use technology. They use computers, Promethean boards, and it's very interactive learning style. So when a student calls in, sometimes they'll interact over email on the computer. They can actually pull up curriculum, on the computer system and walk them through it. So it's really high tech now.
It is.
So what are the details so that students and parents can make sure that they can get that phone call out for help with the homework?
DialATeacher is open. It follows kind of the APS traditional calendar, and it's open Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. in Albuquerque area, 344-3571, or statewide, 1-800-94-STUDY. And we get calls from as far away as New York because people use their nationwide long distance. So
that's great, Kristin.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. You guys have a great day.